Goes. I don't normally do welcome back for live streams, but here we are. Welcome back. How's everybody doing? It's kind of getting a little toasty in here. Leave the air conditioner off for now, though. And yes, the final's been fantastic. It's been absolutely fantastic. Really looking forward to tonight's game. Should be a good one. Shannon's already started, so yes, Shannon did start on time. Silly internet. I think Kessel will probably retire this summer. I'd be kind of surprised if he signs anywhere past this season. I think he'll probably retire this summer. So I'll have a career video set to go when that happens. Hello to St. Louis. Wagers. I never wager. Am I annoyed it went 7? Why would I be annoyed? This series has been absolutely fantastic. I've enjoyed it. The fact that I don't have a dog in the race probably makes it a little bit better for me. It's just been really entertaining to watch as a hockey fan. Greetings to Orlando, Santa Barbara as well. Goals do I think one of these teams will need for me to call the game? It's going to depend on the period. I think a 2-goal lead's pretty strong in this series, though. At least that's how it seems to be. Well, Melbourne, Australia. Does Kane re-sign in Detroit? I don't think so. It didn't sound like that's something that was on the way. Thoughts on the Rangers bundling their first-round pick and Kakko to move up in the draft? I don't know if Kakko gets you a move up in the draft. Kakko at the $2.4 million cap hit. I mean, it's possible he gets moved. I don't know that he moves you up in the draft very much. I don't think he has a lot of value at this point. Edmonton 3-2 and OT. Where does Ullmark land? I think it's going to be an Eastern-based team. I don't think Ullmark wants to go out west, and I think Boston will do their best to accommodate him. May very well end up being in the division because there are teams within the division that could use a goaltender. Detroit comes to mind. Toronto comes to mind. Ottawa comes to mind. And then, I mean, in the Metro, there's a few teams you can make that argument for as well. So I think Ullmark's probably staying in the East. Ehlers, McGroarty, and Laine get traded to. I hope they don't trade McGroarty. Ehlers is there's gonna be a lot of teams in on Ehlers. As for Laine is gonna be tough. Don Waddell realizing trading Bobrovsky is very, very difficult given not Bobrovsky. I'm watching TV, obviously. Trading Merzlikins is difficult because of his contract, but that Laine contract is pretty hefty. So moving him is going to be a challenge. I think the Red Wings can win the cup without a top 3 pick, without McDavid or Bedard. Yeah. Teams have won Stanley Cups without top draft picks. You can look at last year's Las Vegas Golden Knights as an example. They didn't draft Eichel. Eichel was a top draft pick in his draft class, but they didn't draft him. You can with rosters being set up the way they are. Like tonight, Florida. If Florida wins this game, while there's some number 1 picks there and top first round picks there, that's not why they're winning the Stanley Cup if they get it tonight. So yeah, I don't see any reason why not. I don't pick. I'm not picking either team. I genuinely do not pick one way or the other. And I don't do that kind of thing. The only thing I do is during the regular season, I will wear for a preview a jersey of a team that I think should win that night. That's as close as I get. $4.99. Thank you very much. Does Wolf play 30 this season? If they don't get another goaltender, I would say Vladar and Wolf probably split the net 50-50. We'll see if they're done. We'll see if it is Vladar and Wolf, but probably will be. And I think you give them both 50-50. How high could Seneca go in the 2024 draft? He could go as high as, I would say, 10 or 11. Really, once you get past the first few picks, it really is wide open. I think we'll see some movement on Friday at the draft table, but probably during the draft. So we'll probably have one of those drafts where, everything seems to be nice and orderly, and then all of a sudden a team will realize, hey, our player's still available at, say, 6. We want to make a trade for that 6th pick, and we'll start seeing picks getting bundled one way and the other. Tage get 50 goals. He's going to have quite the bounce back to get to 50. He has the talent to get to 50, but yeah, he's going to have quite the bounce back next season to get there. Thoughts on Minnesota trading Gus? Start of season or middle season to bring Wallstead up? It's possible Wallstead looks ready. It depends on whether Bill Guerin wants to go for a playoff spot now or if he's fine with waiting a little bit. But I could definitely see Gustafsson getting moved. His name's come up a lot in trade rumors over the last little while. Will Edmonton riot if they lose? No. Why is everybody always obsessed with riots when teams lose? No, I don't think they will. Just like they didn't in Vancouver when they lost in the second round. It didn't happen, but yeah. Yeah, Yvonne's up north. She took the kids up to Barkerville. So they're up there for a few days. So it's just me. Just me in the house. Nobody else. I don't think the Penguins are trading Jari. I'd be very surprised. Oh, what is she doing now? Oh, yeah, okay, here she goes. Oilers girl video. She's apparently signed a deal to pose for Playboy, so there'll be a video. Won't be on my channel, but probably be more entertaining than a whiteboard. I'm saying probably. Would I still do a career video on Cherkowski? Marius Cherkowski? Yeah, I can. This summer I'll be doing some career videos for while we're on vacation too. So yeah, Cherkowski I could do that for. Is Bob playing tonight? He better be. I don't think Saros is getting traded. I'd be very surprised if Saros gets traded. We heard that speculation a lot, but I think they're going to try to re-sign him. If his asking price is too high, then maybe they think about it. Am I enjoying the piece? No, it's weird. It's very weird. It's bizarre to have all these animals realizing I'm the only human. So I just gave them 2 cans of food. So don't tell Yvonne I gave them 2 cans of cat food just to stop the fighting. And the guinea pigs were really uncertain of me today. I really freaked them out. At the Fontainebleau, checking out the awards trophies on display. It's my favorite trophy in design. I mean, the Stanley Cup's the best trophy. The Conn Smythe is a really fun trophy. Conn Smythe is a fun one. We'll see that one probably get awarded tonight. We'll definitely see it get awarded tonight. That's probably my favorite of those trophies. Oh, now they're talking about teams that have come back from 3-0 down. That's why I did that video when I did it. This is true. Yvonne never watches my videos or my live streams, so I can get away with a lot. Here's my girlfriend. I'm just kidding. It's just me. I'm too old. I don't have the energy. I barely have the energy for one person. Opinion on Leo Carlson. Carlson's a really good player. I like Carlson a lot. Any good hot dog stands in Nashville or Salt Lake City? Think about inviting my buddy Phil after. Yeah. I would have no idea. I've never been to Nashville or Salt Lake City. Do I think Cider or Raymond stay or leave? Oh no, they'll both stay. They'll both, but it's a matter of how much they're going to cost. They're going to be pricey, very pricey. Mock draft, even though I think it'd be cool. Yzerman takes Yzerman. I agree with you. He'd be taken earlier. Steve avoids him because of maturity. Yzerman could very well end up being the best goal scorer out of the draft. I don't know about the rest of his game, but he could very well end up being the best goal scorer in the draft or out of this draft because that's what he was really paying the most attention to this year, his draft year. So the rest of his game is going to require some work, but he could be quite the hot commodity if his goal scoring ends up being where it's expected to be. While I talk about my starting lineup hockey collection, there's not much in the way of the starting lineup ones. Yeah, I don't have a lot. I will be doing like collection videos during the summer, but yeah, I don't know that I'll be doing those ones. San Jose having the number one pick, is this the year things turn around for them? A little bit. Getting Will Smith in the lineup, and if Celebrini signs and if he's playing right away, they'll improve. I don't think they're a playoff team, but they'll definitely improve. Does Laine go to Pittsburgh? Not without serious retention by Columbus. Laine at $8.7 million for a cap hit. Yeah, Pittsburgh's not looking at taking that on unless there's some serious retention or unless Columbus takes back a bad contract. Let's see. According to Brian Burke, Phil Kessel. Oh, all the Phil Kessel eat jokes. If Iginla's there at 9, the Flames draft him. Some of the mock drafts I've seen though, Iginla goes as high as 5. So he could be gone by the time they actually get there. No, Marner hasn't been traded. If Marner got traded, there'd be a video on the channel already. So no, he hasn't been traded. I don't know if he's going to be. Would I rather have the NBA back in Vancouver or Major League Baseball back in Montreal? Baseball back in Montreal. I think that while I would love to see the Grizzlies back, I think that was criminal. That was just criminal. Am I going to get a Utah jersey next year? Well, they'll have 2 of them, so I'll probably get their home and away. Keeping in mind that it's just for the 1 year, and then they'll get the actual permanent jerseys not long after that. So, yeah, I'll probably get them both relatively early in the season. I don't know when they're going to be available either, from a retail perspective. I don't even know why I was looking over there. I don't know who I was looking for. Like now, my pictures. Can any of my pictures give me the answer? I don't think they can. Is Calgary going to be the worst team in the league next season? No. There's still enough good players there that they won't be the worst team in the league. That's not something that I think is going to happen at all. Should McDavid win Conn Smythe regardless of cup winner? It depends on it really depends on how this game goes. So, like, let's say Bobrovsky comes out and has a 45 save performance and a shutout. I could see Bobrovsky getting it. Outside of something like that taking place, it's McDavid's. It's McDavid's trophy. He may be the first to get a trophy on the losing team since J.S. Shiger back in 2003. On the Marner track, I think Marner's contract is fine as it is for what he does. I think that if Marner gets traded by Toronto, I can almost guarantee it comes back to haunt them at a later date, because I've watched many players leave Toronto, and haunting Toronto seems to be a thing that happens regularly. So, and I'm a Marner fan, so I'm not gonna say anything bad about him. Where would I rate this final over the last 10? Oh, this is easily the best Stanley Cup final I've seen at least the last 10 years. Just for the unpredictability, this might be the best final I've ever watched. What would be the highest draft pick traded this year, if any? Columbus is willing to move number 4. I could see that happening, but you're going to have to pay a lot to get number 4 from Columbus. I don't know if anybody's going to pay the price. Should the Devils trade for McGroarty? Again, I don't know. I haven't even seen that he's on the market for the Winnipeg Jets. I like Rucker McGroarty. I I'd like to see the Jets give him a chance. They definitely need some new, fresh faces in the lineup after what happened in the first round this year. I'd like to see McGroarty get that chance. Wasn't the Bolts versus Colorado pretty good too? Yeah, but I mean, it felt like it was Colorado's, and it didn't go 7. It was a really good final, but again, compared to this has been just absolutely wild. That Florida was up 3-0, they were in complete control, and since then the Oilers have destroyed them. Like, this is the most remarkable final I can remember. After 8 years and only one round one, the Leafs have to make some sort of change, right? They do. The problem is he has a no movement clause and apparently doesn't want to go anywhere. And Brad Treliving has the right to sit and talk to him about an extension, and he can sign an extension as of July the 1st. So, 10 miles south of downtown Salt Lake City. Hope to attend at least one major regular or one regular season NHL hockey game this year. Utah will be your new favorite team. Well, and I think Utah is going to work. I think Utah is absolutely going to work. I'm feeling depth in the lineups may decide the game. Who do I think has the edge on depth? The Oilers seem to have the edge right now in that Florida keeps plugging guys in and out of the lineup, and it doesn't seem to be making much of a difference. That fourth line for the Oilers has been really good throughout the playoffs. He really has. Or they really have, I should say. What does the entertainment guy think of Game 7? He's out in the shed. It's opinion on who wins. If he's right, can you finally let him out of the basement? Nah. He needs to get some more content going. I know he's thinking about doing a video tonight after the game. I'm not sure if I'm going to let him use the room. I know this isn't a topic for tonight, but as a more recent Canes fan, I always see Wesley's number in the rafters, but know nothing about him. I've ever considered doing a career video. I have. See, there's some careers that are good, but they're not necessarily remarkable. Like, they're not ones that I can, do a good in-depth video on, and it would just feel like I'm rambling off stats. So that's where some of the videos I haven't done yet. That's part of the reason why I haven't done those ones. But this summer, I'm going to have to kick myself in the backside and get them done. The Oilers lose. Do they need to make changes? Every team's going to have to make changes this summer. I don't think this game necessarily dictates what they're going to do. I think the Oilers have shown they're a contender. And so it takes the pressure off a little bit. Although, isn't this Ken Holland's last season? So a new GM will make changes. Matthew Nyes and a combination of picks straight up for San Jose's number 1 pick. Yeah. After an entire year of waiting for Celebrini, who has ties to San Jose, they're going to alienate their fan base by trading the number 1 draft pick. It is not happening. That's not in play at all. San Jose does that. Like, their fan base is that nope, that's not going to work. Coachella Valley's got a lead. Good on them. I can't watch because I know this game starts at 5:00. So, and if Coachella Valley wins tonight, then here we go. Then I get to watch Game 7 on Wednesday. Hershey fans should be excited because Hershey's 4-0 in the playoffs when I've watched them this year. Hi, Yvonne. How you doing? If she could clean while she's there, it'd be great. Oh, my pretend girlfriend? Yeah, no, not much of a cleaner or a girlfriend. So, yeah. Favorite AHL team that is in Abbotsford? I have a lot of Belleville jerseys. I have a lot of Calgary Wrangler jerseys now, too. I have 3 of them, which is something considering they haven't been around that long. So, yeah. Do I like the Ducks' slow rollout of the rebrand? I'm going to be doing a video on that on Wednesday, talking about the Ducks rebrand. And I mean, we knew this was coming for years. I think they've done their due diligence. They've taken their time with it, and I think the new gear is going to look nice. So, but we'll definitely have a talk about that on Wednesday. Who would the captains pass the cup off to? McDavid, I would think, would pass it off to Draisaitl, and then Draisaitl to Perry, because this if the Oilers win tonight, my guess is Perry probably retires because you won the Stanley Cup. You're 38. It's the best way to go out. If Florida wins, I think Barkov passes it off to, I would say, maybe Reinhart, and then Opposo has to get an early turn with the cup because he's never had a run like this before. What would a third for the Ducks potentially look like? The eggplant and teal. I think they could use that as the third. Just use the old Mighty Ducks jersey as a third. Do the exact same thing the Canucks do with the skate. Use it as a third jersey. I had a chance to see Washington Capitals' new uniform for their 50th. The new template looks nice. I haven't seen it. No. Hello from Australia. Hello to Australia. Welcome to the live stream. Olmark may be going to the Sens. Yeah, he may be. That's possible. There you go. Done. Hello from Abbotsford. Yeah, hello to Abbotsford. Long distance to travel and all. Isn't the internet a wonderful thing? I don't think we see overtime tonight, but we're kind of due for overtime, aren't we? We haven't really seen it in the final, so maybe. Be fun if it went to overtime. Man, the tension. I think it would favor the Oilers if it went to overtime. Hypothetically, if the Panthers lose, where do they go from here? Twice in 2 years. Could there be a third year? I mean, they've shown they can do it. So I'm not going to say that means they're not going to get back there, but it's tough. If they lose this final, that's a tough one. It's really tough to recover from that. Absolutely is. Very blunt question, but do I think Skinner's jersey will be retired if the Oilers win? No. Jersey retirement requires requires more than a run to a Stanley Cup, or else we'd be talking about the Blackhawks retiring Niemi's number. And I don't think Osgood's number is not retired by Detroit either. Keep grinding and inspiring. Thank you. Have to go. Lovely people behave. All right, Yvonne. I will. I'll behave the best that I can. I'll let my girlfriend know that you send your regards. Who should be the Red Wings target in free agency, assuming Raymond and Sider extensions around 7 to 10 mil? I don't know that Detroit needs that much. I mean, obviously with Kane likely leaving, they might be looking for another veteran. Perron's on his way out, but they've also got a lot of good young kids coming up. I don't know if I like their goaltending for next season in terms of getting into the playoffs. I think that might be the best place for them to focus their attention, is maybe an upgrade in net, because really Detroit's right there. Like, they would have made the playoffs if not for Washington winning their last game this season. So I don't think they need anything dramatic. I do think they'll pick up at least one or two veteran free agents. Which players from Coachella Valley get the call up if they win? The guys who got the call ups this year, Winterton, Wright's going to be in their lineup, I would think, full time next season. And I know Riker Evans is down. I think Riker Evans is still down with them right now. Riker Evans is going to be in Seattle full time next season. There's a number of good young players there. Yeah, it should be an interesting lineup for Seattle next season. I did see the rumor of Pesci to New Jersey. I try not to report on the rumor side of it because they're not allowed to negotiate yet. They're not allowed to negotiate until July the 1st. They had a period of time where they were allowed to discuss before free agency. I mean, you could call a guy and say, "So, what would you think about coming to play here?" I guess, but yeah, there's still other teams that would be in on Pesci, but he's exactly the kind of defenseman they need. Any news on when on-ice Fanatics jerseys are being released? There's going to be a post at some point this week, and it could be on Wednesday from all 32 teams. But Fanatics is going to reveal the jerseys the same as Adidas did when they got the contract, like Reebok did when they got the contract. When they'll be available for sale, no idea. I haven't heard the actual date on when we're going to get them. What's the deal with PLD? Why is he hated? He underachieves. There's some underachieving that's there. Do you have to have an email to message? You just wondering. I mean, we have an email address attached to the channel, if that's what you mean. Okay. I thought the cup travels with the NHL. I thought the cup was on the same charter flight as the players. Like the new logo for the Kings. Wondering what thought is. I mean it's fine. It's serviceable. I still like the old coat of arms. I'd like to see the coat of arms come back on some level, or just the crown used on a third jersey, but it's fine. Do I think Boston makes any big moves? Yes, they need centers. They need at least one top 6 center. I wouldn't be upset if they had a couple of good centers come in. But yeah, there's an email attached in I think I got the email in the description. But yeah, it's TheHockeyGuy.yt at gmail.com. Checked by both myself and my lovely wife. See, I don't believe there's a script for games, because I haven't seen anybody saying, man, I've made millions of dollars because I knew exactly what was going to happen. Because the funny thing is, it's really easy to say, well, this was set up after it's happened rather than before. So, yeah. The shiny helmets are gone. They're going with black matte helmets next season. So, same kind that the Canucks were using with the skate late in the season, the matte black. Who's the guy that drives around the cup? And that's Phil Pritchard. He's this keeper of the cup. He's been the keeper of the cup since the 90s. Zadorov's getting paid. Zadorov's getting paid on July the 1st. It won't be by Vancouver. Vancouver's made it clear that they've been really making sure that expectations in Vancouver in the market are low for keeping anybody, because they know we're going to lose some players on July the 1st. Again, I trust management, so I'm not overly concerned. What is Lundell's ceiling? Lundell is Barkov light. I don't think he's ever going to put up the kind of numbers that Barkov does. I don't think he'll ever be as good defensively as Barkov, but he's a very good two-way forward. He's got the offensive instincts. He's sort of like a Barkov Jr. That the keeper of the cup gets a lot of women. I don't think that's the thing. I get the feeling probably not. So, do I think USA coverage sucks? No, I like there's some that do better than others. There's definitely some hockey coverage that's better than others. I do get frustrated at times by watching nationwide broadcasts in the US where they're explaining the game a lot, and I feel like, okay, a lot of the viewers to this probably not as much rookie in the viewership as they treat them. Sometimes I feel like they're talking down to the viewer, and it's kind of hard to tune that out. But in general, no, American coverage, very often they have a lot of the same people we have in the Canadian coverage. Membership gifting. Thank you. Greatly appreciated. Is the cap set to go up again next season? Yeah, it's supposed to be 92 million. 92 million next season's the ballpark. Money in the bank. I want Jey Uso. I could see Uso in the bank. I could see that happening. But I mean, it's summer, so I can watch all the WWE pay-per-views now as long as I'm home and review those and talk about those. So on the Entertainment Guy, there will definitely be videos on WWE pay-per-views. AEW not so much because those cost $50 to $60, and I wouldn't make that money back on any of the videos. So I'm gonna give a tour of the magnet collection. Oh, there's thousands of magnets, just thousands and thousands and thousands, and it's not an exciting thousands either. So sorry. Kane's playoff experience has been huge for Fogel. Warren Fogel is one of the hardest working players in the game, and I'm really happy he's had a good final. All right, there we go. Where does Line go, and who could come to Columbus to replace him? Again, you're going to have somebody who's willing to eat that contract. They may have to take a bad contract back to make the money work. And Line right now is still in the player assistance program. So I don't know if you can, I know you can trade a guy who's still in that program, but I would think you'd probably want him to be officially out of that program before you acquire him, or at the very least have a talk with him. My opinion on, I'm going to guess that's Georgiev. I like Georgiev. I don't know if he's an elite starter at the NHL level, though. I don't know. I feel like he gets worn down, and Colorado's going to have to play him a little bit less. What do the Penguins need to do to get back in the playoffs? Oh, that's the tricky part, because to me it looks like Pittsburgh may very well need a retool or a rebuild. I don't know that they can get back in the playoffs because everybody's a year older. It gets that much more difficult to get the points and everything else. I feel like Malkin's production started to drop. Letang has some great games and some not great games mixed in. I don't know. Someone's winning tonight. Sad season's ending. Should have busy offseason with lots of speculation. If Edmonton doesn't win, how many first round picks or number one picks within the next 10 years? I think Edmonton's going to be a top team in the West for a while. I think they're set to be there for a while. I want to start a hockey YouTube channel. How on earth do I start? The one recommendation I would give, and this is the same recommendation that Yvonne's given people too that have emailed. Find a niche. Find something that other people aren't covering. I've said for a while that if somebody started like a channel that's dedicated to the American Hockey League or East Coast Hockey League or CHL, how about a whole like CHL talking about Western Ontario, Quebec, and have a different way of doing it, a different presentation. I think there can be success there. It's when people decide, okay, I'm going to start a THG like channel, and they're doing a lot of the same things. It then comes off as its copy rather than its own thing. So you can find your own thing, something you want to talk about. That's something that's not being covered on other channels. I think there's success there. My opinion on hope for the Blues: excellent backup, absolutely excellent backup. What happened to Canada's goalie pipeline? They didn't put it in. It wasn't given priority. Goaltending development in Canada was not given priority. Do I have a Bettman bobblehead? I don't think there is a Bettman bobblehead. I don't think there is one. That'd be terrifying, wouldn't it? Just turn around and see his head bobbing up and down at me. I don't know if I could handle that. Why am I wearing Anaheim? Because we're going to Anaheim in August, so I figure, and I got this Hockey Fights Cancer jersey for dirt cheap from the American NHL store via Dave, a subscriber. Thanks, Dave. And yeah, I think it works. Thoughts on the Allmark trade? I haven't looked at it yet. Rutger McGroarty situation? I haven't really looked at that either. I've had a nice quiet day today. I did my treadmill, so that was about an hour. And then, of course, I've been here for an hour doing the the live stream, a little over half an hour doing the live stream. I can do a news video in between the first and second period of tonight's game. I can absolutely do that, or maybe after the game. Oh, I never need more sport. There's always sports on to watch. I watch a lot of tennis. I watch baseball. Yeah, I watch a lot of different sports that are on, and Euro 2024. It's a shame because it's set in Europe. The games are on so early because I really do enjoy Euro. There was one year where I got up really early to watch games for Euro, but that was before I had a hockey channel. So assuming they re-sign Stamkos, reacquiring McDonough puts them back in the cup contender situation. Uh, I mean, I don't know about contender. McDonough too, isn't he like 34, 35? So you have to worry about wear and tear with the players in Tampa. They have to stay healthy. They can stay healthy, and if they get, some good injection of youth scoring, sure. But Tampa Bay is kind of getting out of that contention window right now. McDonough will help though. Did Gary tell me who was going to win tonight? When I did the Gary Bettman phone call, the series was 3-0 Florida, and Bettman told me that the Oilers were going to win in 7. So we'll see if he was telling me the truth or not. Thank you a lot for getting me through some rough times in my life over the last years. Started to watch nearly 6 years ago. A lot of stuff happened that year. Videos helped me get through. That's part of the reason why I do daily videos. Is that when I went through hell 10 years ago and I had a really, really tough time personally, YouTube was like normalcy. So I would watch the YouTubers that I'd been watching before my life fell apart, and I would have that time where it felt like everything was okay. This is normal. This feels like my everyday thing, and having that routine. So that's why it's really important to me that I do produce videos every day. I don't have to. I could take days off. People wouldn't mind, and I don't think it would be a big deal. But I know that people need that routine. So that's why I make sure I put videos on the channel every single day. Watching any Euros? Uh I know, was it Denmark, England, where England was all ticked about how badly they played, and I'm like, man, I wish Canada could tie Denmark. As for what the Canucks do, I think they're going to find value signings. I think Myers resigns, and then I think they find some value contracts. Dakota Joshua is going to cash in, may very well not be by the Canucks. Now they need to find another Dakota Joshua. Love your videos. I really look up to you. Thank you very much. It's greatly appreciated, and I don't take that lightly. 5 p.m. start time. When will the puck actually drop? About quarter after. Generally, these last couple rounds, the 5 o'clock start means about quarter after, 20 after you actually get puck drop. How do you think McDavid and Datsuk compare in terms of stick handling? McDavid's ahead of Datsuk in terms of puck handling, but I think Datsuk was one of the smartest players I've ever seen play the game. He'll be in the Hall of Fame this fall, and yeah, I think first ballot he has to get in. So yeah, Datsuk was a special talent, but McDavid is just absolutely ridiculous. Aloha from Big Island, Hawaii. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you very much. Where's Marchessault go if he doesn't re-sign in Vegas? Watch him end up back with Florida. Watch him end up going back to the Panthers. Wouldn't entirely surprise me. Why is the season ending 3 days into summer? The scheduling for this Stanley Cup final, they put the extra travel day in because of distance traveled for the playoff series. So this series would have been over 3 days ago, if not for those extra days. I do want to see the Stanley Cup awarded the first week of June, not the third week of June. But anytime you talk to Bettman about it, he goes, "Nope, we all love it." So, do I ever cry at big sporting events? No, um, no. Concerts, yes. There are times at a concert where I'll have that moment of, I am here. I am hearing this song. I've listened to this for over 20 years. I'm hearing it live. I'm with these 25,000 people. This is fantastic, and I have those moments. So I do get kind of emotional. I love the videos. Thank you. Thank you for sharing with us. And thanks for watching. Because if you guys weren't watching, it'd be kind of silly for me to make videos talking to nobody. Although I did that in the beginning. Would I do a what if NHL alternate history? I mean, I could. I absolutely could. I am, coming up with different ideas for off-season playlists. Of course, I'm doing this season by season, but I started it when I did because if I'm going to finish it before next season starts, I kind of had to start it when I did. But yeah, I can do stuff like that. What do I think of Rangers re-signing for 1 year, 2.4 million for Kako? That's fair value. That's absolutely fair value. I like Capo Kako. The offense hasn't been there, but he's not far off. Who do I think the next team to relocate will be? I'm hoping there aren't any. I'm an optimist. I'm hoping there won't be another relocation. Florida would have been the pick 10 years ago. Obviously, right now, there's no danger of that. I don't think there'll be a relocation. If Winnipeg spends the next, say, 5 years of not getting attendance and struggling, maybe, but like they're not in any danger right now. And I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah, the first song that made me emotional was Rammstein playing Mind Tile. First time I heard Mind Tile, I was like, "Oh man, I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe I'm hearing it." I think the Wall deal will age well. It's not confirmed yet, is it? Like I've seen that, Kevin Weeks is reporting what it is, but I didn't think they could make it official yet. But I mean they need two goaltenders, so paying Wall 3.5 to 4 million works. And yeah, I don't predict. I don't. The last thing I need is somebody emailing me going, dude, I spent $400 betting on that game because you said this team was going to win and they lost, and now we're hosed. Will Nickelback play before the game like in 06? Not in Florida, they won't. Nah, not in Florida. Most underrated player between Oilers and Panthers. I would go with Fogle on the Oilers. Has been underrated plenty. Florida, I think Kulikov at times has looked pretty darn good on their blue line. And I don't know if I would have him on a first unit power play, but OEL's had a pretty good run overall in these playoffs. He's not the same player he was in Arizona, but I think he's had a really nice bounce back in Florida after a really rough few years in Vancouver. Will Nashville have a bounce back year next year? They weren't even supposed to be in the playoffs this year. But I do think that Florida, or not Florida, Nashville, because I'm watching TV, right? Nashville, I think, is going to stay in the mix for a playoff spot next year. I'd be very surprised if they don't. Exactly 1,400 games this season. So let's see, minus the games in California when I was down there. So I guess I've watched 1,350 games this year. Yeah, that's a lot. Who do I think the Blue Jackets will draft? In my mock draft, I went with Lindstrom. I do think it's going to be a forward. If Demidov drops to 4 because maybe defensemen get taken at 2 and 3, yeah, it's going to be a forward. It's going to be somebody they think can play with Fantilli. And just the idea of Fantilli and Lindstrom as the top 2 centers, just that'd be fantastic for them if they did that. Hershey's tied Coachella Valley. Cool. What about Utah will surprise us this year? How competitive the team's going to be? They have a ton of cap space and they have some really good players. They can completely remake their blue line as well. I think with some smart moves from the general manager, Utah's going to be in the mix for a playoff spot. McDavid's a Conn Smythe winner no matter the outcome. The exception to that for me would be if Bobrovsky comes out tonight and has a 45 save shutout, Bobrovsky could very well win the Conn Smythe. I know what the odds are. I know what everybody's betting on. It's betting odds. I don't care. Do I ever get bored, burnt out by hockey? Absolutely. Yep. Towards the end of this regular season, yep, that's part of the reason why at the All-Star break I like to take a vacation. So during the Four Nations tournament next year, I'm looking at that and thinking I want to be home to watch the final and cover and review the final. I'm not sure that I'm going to care entirely about the round robin portion of the tournament because I do get burnt out. I do, absolutely. Did people talk about the script back in the 80s? Yep. The one that I remember rolling my eyes at was in 94 after the Rangers beat Vancouver in game 7. Hearing two guys in the store, and I knew one of them, and I didn't acknowledge him because he was like, well, the NHL wanted New York to win. Their headquarters are in New York, and they don't want a Canadian team. They don't want Vancouver to win. So that's why the Rangers won, because that's what the NHL wanted. And I was like, man, people actually think this? Well, now the internet's far more robust than it was in 94. And yep, that's what people think. So yeah, people definitely felt like, oh no, this is the team that they wanted. So the NHL wanted the Rangers to win in 94 and then never again. That's it. Okay, we'll give you the cup this year, but you understand, no more. That's it. You're done. Stanley Cup and Calder Cup won on the same day before? I don't know. I don't know if they have, but yeah, if Coachella Valley wins tonight, then game 7's on Wednesday. Either team losing tonight equals endless pain for other team and meme economies built overnight. Looking forward to it. Yeah, because either you get Florida blowing a 3-0 lead or Corey Perry being in another Stanley Cup final and not making it. Mr. Recaps next few months. What's in store for the offseason? I had an idea for watching Stanley Cup clinching games and reviewing them. So finding YouTube videos that have the entire games. But I'm leaning away from that now and thinking, why don't I just cover really historically significant games that are on YouTube? So like the Easter Epic, something like that, and just review it the same as I review games now, right? And then I'd have to wear jerseys that are period appropriate, of course. And I don't know, maybe have some fun with it. If it's an old game, maybe I just make the whole video black and white, just desaturate, right? I could do that. Do I think Shane Wright will play the whole season in Seattle next year? Yep. Yvonne is up north. She's gone to Barkerville for a few days. Hershey up 2-1. Lapierre goal. Hendricks Lapierre looks good. I do not make predictions. It's not my thing. Burns announced will mark trade and okay. Well, I'll look at it. What do I think the future holds for Nils Lundqvist? Time with a team that's not Dallas. I think Nils Lundqvist has played himself right out of Dallas. They gave up a first round draft pick for him. That trade has not aged well at all. Did she get any gold yet? I don't think so, but hoping. Which team has the best, worst logo? The best logo, I love the Flyers logo. I think historically the Hartford Whalers have a fantastic logo. Anaheim probably would have been right near the bottom for me, but with them going back to a Mighty Ducks style, that's going to be one of the better logos. I sometimes say Islanders, but Islander fans don't like it when I say that. It's just, to me, it's kind of, I don't know. It's not a fantastic logo, but that's my opinion. My opinion. Flyers don't have a terrible logo. I love the Flyers logo. See, I knew people wouldn't like it. Olmark to Ottawa for Catholic and Corpusella. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll do a video on it later. 9-year-old daughter wants to know how many jerseys you have and what's your favorite color. My favorite color of jersey is purple. My favorite colors are red and black. The number of jerseys, it's a lot. I haven't even tried counting them for a long time. It's a lot. It's quite a bit. Yes, I have them. Whatever it is, I have it. I will be happy for whoever wins as well. I think Seattle will re-sign Yamamoto. If they do, it'll be cheap. Yamamoto did not have a good year in Seattle, so I don't know if they qualify him or if they let him go. We'll know by the end of the week, right? Qualifying offers are due on the 30th, so we'll know by Sunday who's not getting qualified. My thoughts on Kenny Linsman? Linsman was probably a bit ahead of his time. His style of hockey got really popular after he came in. There's definitely been some guys that I think Linsman would have excelled in this era. I think he would have done quite well. Oh, from Laos. Nice. I'm glad somebody from Laos watches. My favorite jersey number. Every jersey that I have my name on is 13 because that was the number that I always liked to wear in school because 13 was considered bad luck. So I was like, I'll take 13. And so I wore 13 all the time. So, but what's interesting is most of the players in the league who are like favorites of mine wear 53. I have no idea why, but like I watch a guy, I'm like, man, he's really good. Oh, he's wearing a 53. Yeah, that checks out. Am I live streaming the game? No, no. I don't think people realize how boring me live streaming the game would be because I'm taking notes constantly. So there wouldn't be a lot of interaction back and forth. And I don't react to goals very much. There's minor little reactions, but I don't have like, I don't scream. I don't get all like happy and, jump up and down. It's not the most exciting to watch me react to hockey games. Who do I think the Rangers are going to go after to replace Goudreau? They can replace from within. Goudreau's a bottom six forward, so I think they can replace from within, and I mean they're going to be able to find a cheap option on the market. Fourth line forwards, you can find some guys for cheaper than what Goudreau was making. Will I watch? I don't watch UFC. I don't have any interest at all in the UFC. Yeah, Olmark going to Ottawa, that was the one that was rumored a lot. And he'll definitely help Ottawa. He'll help the Senators. One issue they've had has been goaltending. So Olmark will definitely solidify that. And that means that, now it's Swayman's net in Boston. It's time for it to be Swayman's net. And I'm sure they'll come up with a new goalie celebration or maybe goalie hugs. Maybe Olmark takes it to Ottawa. If Swayman keeps doing it in Boston, maybe we start seeing it all over the NHL. Maybe that's going to be a new tradition. I'm all for it. I think it's great. I think it's fun. I'm all for it. See, I don't think it's as dangerous to trade in the division as it used to be. I think that trades within the division were frowned upon a lot in the old days, and now it's not a big deal. Where's my Patrick Waugh photo? Right here. Patrick Waugh with the Stanley Cup and the Conn Smythe Trophy. This is why when people ask why would you say he's the greatest goalie that you've ever seen? Conn Smythe and the Stanley Cup, which he won both more than once. So if that's the first time he did it, I should get photos of him with both trophies on every occasion he had it, and then just line them up. And I hated when Patrick Waugh was playing against a team I rooted for. I was like, man, not Waugh. Anybody but Waugh. Come on. No, not Waugh. When he got appendicitis during that series against Boston, as a Bruins fan, I I was hoping he'd have a nice recovery of about 10 days. It's like, all right, just if he's out for about 10 days, he's fine, he's healthy, and Boston plays against Rasico. Bring on Rasico. No, Fleury is not. No, 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 no. Patrick Waugh was ridiculous. You couldn't beat him in overtime. He was the best big game goalie I ever saw. And the 93 Montreal Canadiens don't get anywhere near a Stanley Cup without Patrick Waugh. Is that a framed picture of? Yeah, that's my Gary Bettman photo. So back in the day, where I started getting the comments on the channel of, well, Shannon's just a shill for the National Hockey League, and that's all he is. He's just a shill. He's on the payroll. I thought, in our post offices here, we have like the monarch. So we had the Queen, their picture up, and then it was, I guess now to be King Charles, right? So I thought, all right, why don't I have my monarch? So I'll get a Bettman photo and I'll make sure it's in the background. And I just think it's funny. I paid $3 for it. I got it for $3 on eBay. I don't know if the signature is legitimate or not. I have no idea. It's not the point. It was a $3 picture. It was like, yeah, I'll pay $3 for that picture. Sure. Yeah, I remember that Patrick Waugh deciding, I'll just skate down the ice and do it myself. Absolutely one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Up there with Esa Tikkanen against the Montreal Canadiens when he's going behind the net, and he takes Brian Hayward's stick and tries to put it inside his jersey like he's going to steal it and hide it. And so Hayward starts hitting him with his blocker because he was taking taking his hockey stick. And so obviously Tikkanen goes to the penalty box. He laughed the whole way to the penalty box. He laughed in the penalty box. I was like, yep, Tikkanen's a legend. That's one thing I loved about Tikkanen. People dislike Bettman because every commissioner's hated, and it really it works for the owners because it keeps the heat off them. As long as everybody's hating on Bettman, who whatever he wants is usually at the will of the owners. Well, it keeps the hate away from the owners. The owners were the ones that were hated a couple generations ago. Now everybody just hates on Bettman. Works perfectly fine for the owners. So I think Gary Bettman will retire or step down the next 10 years. Oh, within the next 10 years, definitely. I would think Bill Daly's the next one to take over. But yeah, within 10 years, I would say absolutely. He is older than he looks. Could I even name all 32 owners? No. At this point, no. I don't know that I could have named all 21 in the 80s, though, either. Yep, I know. I know Boston traded Olmark, but I'm doing the live stream. So, and then I have to watch the game. So I just have to prioritize. I'll do a video on the Olmark trade between the first and second period. So, Seattle Kraken, that's Tenenbaum? No. Um shoot. I should know that. Yeah, I mean I can do videos on the owners. Favorite coast to coast goal? Bure, 1994, game 7 against Calgary in overtime. Can I name all 32 arenas? Not anymore. Back in the day, I could have named off all the arenas. Now that they're all just corporate named arenas, I don't even care. I don't even pay attention. I laugh every time crypto.com arena comes up because I think it sounds ridiculous. But now that they're all just corporate names, I don't care. I feel like I'm just giving free advertising to all the sponsors. I'm surprised that Boston made the Olmark trade today. I would not be surprised if Gary Bettman phones both teams and says, "What are you doing? Our attention's on the Stanley Cup. Couldn't you have made this trade tomorrow?" I did. The NHL doesn't like when deals are getting made during the Stanley Cup final. So both Boston and Ottawa are at least probably going to get a phone call. No, they're not going to do anything to them, but they'll probably get a phone call. Get told don't do that on Stanley Cup Game 7 day. Do it tomorrow. If I could have a beer with any hockey player ever, who would it be? I mean, Cliff Roning's my favorite player ever, so I'll say Cliff Roning. Sure. I don't know if he'd have the most entertaining stories, but yeah, Ronning. Just I say that because there's definitely some players that have some very entertaining stories, but yeah, probably Cliffy. And game time is almost here. I'm almost done. But I've got Sportsnet on already, so um, I'll be good to go. But I'll shut down the live stream in a minute here. I'll get that trade on the board, and yeah, I'll do a video on that after the first period. Texas of Canada. Well, Alberta would qualify as Texas of Canada. As soon as you cross the Alberta border, it's all pickup trucks and cowboy hats. I don't know where they come from. You're in BC, then you're in Alberta, and it's all pickups. It's all cowboy hats. It's like, right. I guess we're in rural Alberta now. We were in rural BC, didn't see it as much. Rural Alberta, here we are. Yep, Game 7 is going to be a lot of fun. Mike Smith career video. Looking forward to Game 7. I can definitely do a Mike Smith career video. Keep in mind that if you guys actually email the Hockey Guy email, that Yvonne passes it on to me or I see it. So it's one way to remind me in case the old noggin doesn't retain all that information. But anyways, Game 7 starting up. Looking forward to it. So I'll talk to you guys after. I will also do a video on the trade between the Bruins and the Ottawa Senators in between the first and second period. And yeah, all the best to you guys. And here's to hoping it's a really fun game tonight. Take it easy and take care.